Good evening. I'm Representative Dale Folwell, and you're almost in my legislative district. It actually starts out at the stoplight. And I know Folwell's a name you expect to hear in a Baptist church, but my name's spelled with an O and his with an A. But I really appreciate you coming out tonight, and I just want to give a round of applause. You know, we have our moderators and the people you see up on the podium, but there are a lot of people behind the scenes that made all this happen, that made the signs, that set up the table. So just a brief round of applause for those people. Thank you. I started by saying I'm Representative Dale Folwell, and that really means something to me. I was at a clothing store last night exchanging a shirt, and the guy said, "When are you up for re-election again?" I said, in November. And he said, "Every 2 years, that's kind of short, isn't it?" And I was at Joseph's Banks there at Thruway, and he said, "That's kind of short, isn't it?" And I said, "Well, how many times are you up for re-election?" He said, "Never." I said, "Yes, sir." I said, "You're up for re-election every day that you come in this store, because my employer are the 64,000 people who live in my district. And whereas your employer could fire you any day, they only get a chance to fire me once every 2 years." So I think it's really important, and I know that Representative Holloway and many other members of the House and the Senate feel this way, that when we do all of our studying and all of our reading and all of our questioning, at the end of the day, we have a button on our desk, and that button is either red or green. There's no yellow button on our desk. And I can assure you, Representative Holloway and myself and many others, that the last thing we think about before we hit that button is, what are my people back home expecting me to do? That is what a representative is supposed to do, is to represent the people in their district, not represent special interests. When you're making those decisions, you use, your stomach, you use your heart, you use your brain, you use the Bible, you use the Constitution, it was just mentioned. You use all those things. But mainly it comes down to what you told people you were going to do in their absence when you applied for the job. And that's what representatives are. This guy asked me last night if my job was frustrating, being in the minority party, and I told him no. It's not frustrating when we try to draw a line in the sand that if you want to harm children, this is not the state to come to. If you want to harm women, this is not the state to come to. If you want to harm pregnant women, this is not the state to come to. If you want to waste the brains of our youth by having 35% of them drop out of high school, then I don't tolerate things like that very well, because the number one natural resource of this great state is not our water and our beaches and our mountains, but it's brains. And I can tell you, I just gave a talk to 146 elementary students at Old Town Elementary, right about 3 miles from here. And out of the 146 kids, they were all fourth graders. Out of the 146 kids, there were about 67 boys, fourth grade boys. This almost takes my breath when I mention it. I was looking into the eyes of at least 40 boys who are not going to be in school 7 years from now. That's a national tragedy when I can look in the eyes of 40 out of 67 boys who are fourth graders and statistically know they're not going to be in school 7 years from now. And if you think about our high school dropout rate, I can't really say this very much because I'm at Wake Forest, which has the highest four-year graduation rate in North Carolina. But our four-year college graduation rate is not much better. It's probably in many cases worse than our high school dropout rate. The other thing I would sort of end with is by saying that as a conservative, people ask me what that means. Well, the root word of conservative is to conserve. Conserving means to get a higher return out of what taxpayers have already purchased. Whatever it is taxpayers have purchased, we have got to get a higher return out of whatever that is. And by doing so, conservatives cannot be Ernest T. Bass. Some of you should laugh at that because you know who Ernest T. Bass was. But you can't be Ernest T. Bass. We can't just pick up a rock and throw it at a window, and every problem is a window, and every solution is a rock, and we giggle and we run off. We can't do that. Because the fact is that even though we're the minority party in North Carolina, I know that when I go to bed tonight, that 80% of North Carolinians agree with me on 80% of the issues. And that's why we have to be the party of conservative and common sense solutions. And the only way we can do that is to put in place policies that reward the 90 or 95% of the people in this state who are doing the right thing and punish the 5 or 10% of the people who are doing the wrong thing. And we've got it exactly backwards in Raleigh. Thank you for your time.